stuffed with cotton, lifeless, innocent. But what if I told you Annabelle was never just a toy? She watches, she remembers, and she punishes. The Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, now closed to the public, was once home to hundreds of cursed artifacts, but none more feared than Annabelle. She didn't look like a monster. No sharp teeth, no cracked porcelain, just a Raggedy Ann doll, stitched smile, button eyes. But don't be fooled, the evil inside her never needed claws. Behind thick glass, sealed with prayers and holy water, sat a sign. Positively do not open. And in the early 2000s, one man chose to ignore it. He tapped on the glass, he laughed, he mocked the legend, and hours later, he was dead. The doll's story begins in 1970. A nursing student named Donna received the Raggedy Ann doll from her mother for her birthday. She and her roommate, Angie, thought nothing of it at first. But then, Annabelle started moving, not dramatically, not like in the movies. Just small things at first. She changed positions, crossed her legs, switched rooms. They thought it was one another playing pranks until the notes began. Slips of paper, childlike handwriting. Help me. Help us. Written on parchment they never bought. The final straw came when a friend named Lou stayed the night. He woke with 3 deep claw marks across his chest. No one else was in the room except for Annabelle. That's when Ed and Lorraine Warren entered the story. The famed paranormal investigators concluded the doll was not possessed. Instead, it was being manipulated by a demonic spirit, one that wanted to eventually possess a human. They took Annabelle and locked her away in their museum. The case was built with thick glass. It was regularly blessed by a priest, and it was never to be touched. But some people just can't help themselves. Before we go deeper, if you're into true horror, haunted objects, and real paranormal encounters, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell. Because some stories don't fade with time, they linger. One summer afternoon, a young couple visited the Warren Occult Museum. They were in their mid-20s, riding a motorcycle, looking for something fun, something scary. Inside the museum, the air was still. Dust hung in beams of sunlight. And at the far end of the room, Annabelle. The man read the sign, smirked, and tapped the glass. The museum guide, one of Ed's assistants, warned him, "Don't provoke her. People have suffered after doing less." The man laughed. "If this doll's really cursed, let it come for me." He turned to his girlfriend and mocked the doll again. Then he banged twice on the case. The girl was uneasy. She asked to leave. They hopped on their motorcycle and sped off down the road. They never made it home. A few miles later, the man lost control. The bike swerved, crashed headfirst into a tree. He died on the spot. His girlfriend survived but was seriously injured. She later told investigators that just before the crash, he was laughing about Annabelle. Now, skeptics would call it a coincidence, but those who worked at the museum didn't think so. The assistant who witnessed it firsthand said it wasn't the first time someone had mocked Annabelle and paid the price. Some had touched the glass and gotten into accidents. Others had insulted her and experienced sudden misfortunes. And then there are those who took photos of her without asking. One woman's camera exploded into sparks. Another found every file on her SD card corrupted, except one. It was a photo of Annabelle, her head slightly tilted as if she had moved. And in one eerie account, a man who took a selfie in front of her glass case claimed that later that night, he saw the doll's face in his dreams. Only she wasn't behind glass anymore. She was standing at the foot of his bed, smiling. Others claimed she whispered, a hoarse voice, muffled like old wood rubbing together, saying just one word, closer. The Warrens were clear. Annabelle is not haunted by a little girl. There is no child trapped inside her. She is a puppet, a tool, a way for something darker to enter our world. And she feeds on attention, disrespect, doubt. The more people mock her, the stronger she becomes. In 2020, a viral rumor claimed Annabelle had escaped. Twitter exploded. People panicked. But the Warren family clarified she was still in her case, still sealed, still watching. But just the idea of her being loose, it chilled thousands around the world. Why? Because Annabelle's curse doesn't need to be near you. You don't have to touch her or even see her in person. You just have to challenge her, laugh at her, mock her, like that man did. And for some reason, she hears it. The museum is closed now. Annabelle rests in her case, locked inside a private space, still blessed weekly by a priest. But the stories haven't stopped. People still report nightmares after watching documentaries about her. Some say they feel watched, others hear scratching at night, and a few swear they've seen her. Not the Hollywood version, not porcelain, but cloth, stitched, smiling, waiting. Others claim she's not confined at all, that what's inside her, the force behind the stitched eyes, can move, that if you stare at her photo for too long, something stares back. People report chills, headaches, even nosebleeds, just from looking. One girl said her laptop shut off after watching a video about Annabelle. When she rebooted it, the background had changed. It showed the museum room, but she had never downloaded that image. Even strangers who mocked her online, posting comments like, "It's just a doll," have emailed the Warrens Foundation later, begging for help. One man said after laughing at an Annabelle video, he began hearing footsteps in his apartment at 3 a.m. Another found the same phrase carved into the fog on his bathroom mirror, "Still here." There's a growing theory that Annabelle's influence is no longer limited to her physical form, that she or what works through her now has a digital reach. You don't need to be in the same room. You just need to invite her in with your disbelief.